When it comes to what Kyiv Post is for me, I would say that this is something personal because 16 years ago, Kyiv Post and its employment section was one of the most prominent sections in Ukraine and in Kyiv. And then I just decided to put my CV into this Kyiv Post section. And you know what? I found a job in the European Business Association through that. I was invited through Kyiv Post to chair the European Business Association. And actually it was a small organization at that period of time, but now it turned out to be a giant. So I would like to thank Kyiv Post for this fantastic job which it has done for me, and I'm really very grateful for that.
Well, I love the Kyiv Post. I've been reading it for over 20 years. I remember when the first story and when the first newspaper came, and I'm still reading it today because of the fantastic journalism inside. I love all the sections of it. As a native English speaker, it's the only real newspaper and articles that I can read and get true quality information. I read it every week, and I would like to say thank you, and I look forward to the next 20 years.
Hi, my name is Ola Rondiak, and I love the Kyiv Post. I've been reading it since 1995 when I first came to Ukraine. I've always admired this newspaper for its boldness and integrity, and for those reasons I chose to incorporate some of the headlines and the articles into my paintings from the Revolution of Dignity series. Thank you, Kyiv Post, for your honesty and for helping to preserve Ukrainian history. Slava Ukraini!
As a politician, I understand why accurate information is so important. One time, Professor Preobrazhensky suggested, if you take care about your health, do not read Soviet Union newspaper before lunch. I would suggest, if you take care what is important in the air, please read Kyiv Post even before breakfast in the morning, as I do.
The old saying in American journalism, to print the news without fear or favor, is a daily reality at the Kyiv Post. I've started working with the journalists there 6 years ago. I'm inspired by them and impressed by them. They keep doing their job with professionalism and independence and integrity in the face of financial threats, in the face of corruption, and in the face of a very terrible war. I admire them greatly. I'm glad to know them, and I wish them the happiest of anniversaries.
So when I met Kyiv Post the first time, this was in the early days of the year 2008 when I arrived to the market, and I found this magazine somewhere in one of the hotels. I assume it was Radisson at this time. And I started since that time to read it week by week from the first to the last page. It's a really wonderful magazine, giving lots of information, having very honest and very visible, very touchable people behind. This is what I like the most. And after that first experiences, we start, of course, to do some advertising as well and to build up our reputation on the local labor market because the audience of Kyiv Post is very well defined. So this is well-educated people with international language skills. What is mainly our target group, and which is the backbone, the intellectual backbone of the country. So this is the reasons why Kyiv Post is my favorite magazine.
Английским языком я не разговариваю, но так объясниться могу только, да? Ну, газету Kyiv Post я обожаю с 2012 года. Я ее регулярно получаю в виденских булочках. Больше всего меня интересуют карикатуры. Это на первом месте. Я их вырезаю. Карикатуры вырезаю. Иногда пану Кличко на доску вешаю, чтобы они тоже читали интересные карикатуры, смотрели. И я по снимкам определяю новости.
It's fairly easy to answer any question, why do I have Kyiv Post in my restaurants? Because it's been here forever. I mean, it existed in Kyiv as long as, for example, my first restaurant, Strip on the Grill, existed. So, I mean, it was absolutely a natural thing to have an independent newspaper in your restaurant when you, let's say, proclaim that you have an independent spirit yourself. So it's rather objective and it's rather inevitable, I would say. And it's been a great friendship for all those many years that passed, and I'm looking forward to keep going together with Kyiv Post.
I've been a reader of the Kyiv Post probably from day one, a big supporter of the most independent and informative English language journal in Ukraine. I think that the Kyiv Post plays an incredible role today, bringing issues to the forefront on a daily basis, giving us again an independent and hopefully balanced perspective on what the business community in particular needs, but also what the expatriate community is seeing and how they're seeing the events in Ukraine. And I think it gives all of us in the Ukrainian government a very good outlet to understanding the international community and the international community's view of what we're doing.
Hello world, welcome to Kyiv, the capital of entrepreneurship in Europe. Follow Kyiv Post to hear about first Ukrainian unicorn.
I think Kyiv Post over the last 20 years has been something that has been setting a standard for journalism. I think it was the first paper to introduce complete separation between ed department and editorial. It was one of the first paper where people would never accept bribes and would be devoted, dedicated, and fair. I think it's the paper that's produced, I don't know, maybe 100, 150 professional, well-trained journalists for the last 15 to 20 years. So I think it's been something that's made a huge contribution into development of local media landscape and civil society in Ukraine.
So part of the reason that we feel the Kyiv Post is important is because of the insight that it has and your reporters have regarding the comings and goings here in Kyiv and throughout Ukraine. For our job, for doing diplomacy, it's important to make sure that we have the right insights and your reporters and your staff understand what's going on in Kyiv, in what broader Ukraine, and allows us to then better understand and talk to Ukraine's leaders and also to understand where business in particular here in Ukraine is coming from so that we can advocate for helping Ukraine build its economy.
I applied for the internship in Kyiv Post last summer. This summer I came back. Why? Because the Kyiv Post is the great newspaper with high standards, and because every journalist can learn from professionals there that work in newsroom.
Я рада вітати з 20-річним ювілеєм першу англомовну газету України «Кyiv Post». Видання народилося в часи великих суспільно-політичних змін і є майже ровесником незалежної України. Думаю, не випадково девизом газети обрані 3 ключових слова – незалежність, спільнота, довіра. Саме вони визначають позицію, орієнтири і мету видання. Колектив газети робить велику справу, презентує Україну англомовному читачу, показуючи справжні реалії українського життя. Саме це видання стало одним із перших, хто назвав події на Сході війною Росії проти України. Always remember to follow the sage advice of Herman Melville. It's better to fail in originality than to succeed in imitation. From the bottom of my heart, I wish you happy birthday. Kyiv Post, you're looking great at 20. Hope it goes well for you in the future.
For about a year, one of Kyiv Post's articles is featured on Greencubator's major presentations. We are working in energy innovations field, and it's important for us that you are covering innovations in technology and stories like alumni of Greencubator's Tesla camp being invested by one of the world's leading telco companies. That's the cool story, and it's also important that you are covering a lot of other innovations and technology stories, but even more important, that the major innovation you are bringing to Ukrainian media landscape is the standards of independent community and trust. So stay independent, bring this new standard, and bring the new high energy to Ukrainian journalism and keep the bar high in terms of reporting, in terms of global vision, and in terms of uncovering the truth and bringing the light to the darkest corners of the complex process, both domestic and global.
This is a great honor for me to be talking about Kyiv Post. I remember the very first issue that appeared a long time ago. Kyiv Post is a chronicle of everything that's happened in Ukraine in all these years. Reports, news, investigative reports. It's accurate, it's precise, it's verified. And for us at the Kyiv School of Economics in our MBA programs and our economics programs, for us this is a valuable learning and teaching tool that enables our students to track what's happening in Ukraine, to discuss it, and most importantly, to think about the future, all, oddly enough, and gladly enough, through the prism of Kyiv Post. Thanks.
First of all, I would like to say that I'm really proud that Hilton Kyiv and Kyiv Post have established strong and mutually beneficial partnership relations based on trust, responsibility, and professionalism, both being leaders in their field. When I took over the position of General Manager at Hilton Kyiv in Ukraine, it was very important for me to stay updated with all local news, and I can confidently say that Kyiv Post became the personal insider's guide to Ukrainian political and economical situation. What is more important, I'm really happy to see that two professional teams of Kyiv Post and Hilton Kyiv have already not once held great events, and I'm sure we will have much more of them together in the future. Well done, Kyiv Post.
I remember it was November 1997. Before that, 1 month ago, we launched the first Ukrainian music chart in Ukraine called Pasha Top 20, which we broadcast on Gala Radio. And I remember when we got the agreement that it's going to be published in Kyiv Post weekly. And I still remember the day when I got this first edition of Kyiv Post with Pasha Top 20 published there. It was really something special. And it really helped me and my company just to move on, that it was something new to the country, that the new chart was launched. It's something new, something special in Kyiv Post. Respected edition already at that time was publishing it. So this is one of my biggest memories with Kyiv Post. So I wish Kyiv Post happy birthday, happy anniversary, happy 20 years. A lot of luck, a lot of success, and keep doing what you're doing.
Silk Asylum Partners is honored to be the legal partner of Kyiv Post Special Edition, doing business in Ukraine. We didn't hesitate at all whether to support or not. The only English language channel edition whose role became crucial during the Revolution of Dignity. The major edition that helps to form Ukraine's image abroad and to shift the picture about our country. I do remember early times of Kyiv Post and the old staff who helped to form the community and to get their business under shared values. They really made a great impetus into helping Kyiv Post in 20 years to become what it is today.
I discovered the Kyiv Post in 2008, and I was 15 and studying in the 10th grade of school in a small city of Vinnytsia Oblast. And my dad was visiting Kyiv often on his business trips, and after one of the trips he brought a newspaper and told me, "Here is a great newspaper, read it. Very smart people are writing for it." And that was actually the first English language newspaper, and I was amazed. I read it from cover to cover because it was actually about Ukraine. And as I was getting ready for the exchange year in a high school in the US, I was looking for some interesting and informative reads, and Kyiv Post turned out to be just what I was looking for. And actually, after 7 years passed, I'm a tech journalist at the Kyiv Post, and it feels great to be, as my father said, one of those very smart people that are writing for the Kyiv Post. And I'm writing about the Ukrainian tech businesses and their successes on the global scene, and I do expect much more of those success stories to come soon.